Welcome back to another episode of That Sound Podcast. And if you love music, you're in the right place. Today we have Luke back with us, of course, our co-host. What's the story, Luke?
I am back for the foreseeable. I'm
Yes,
glad that time allows me on the schedule to be back this week.
yes.
And from what I've heard, I'm in for a treat. The
Yeah.
previous two episodes talking about Syracuse and Toronto was absolutely class.
Yes, of course, we have friend of the podcast back with us, Chris Sulek. How's things, Chris?
Doing well. Still recovering from Nashville. It was a great experience.
Yes.
Need a little bit more sleep in my life.
Can't wait to hear all about it. So, you did catch some of the events throughout the weekend too. Before we get into the set list, maybe we get some feedback on that. It'd be cool to hear about the. I know you caught the Squindo show, right?
Yes, yeah. The Squindo. I think he's got it. It's 104 seasons of Squindo or something to that effect. But Squindo art. I'd done it in Seattle last year, and it was two sessions. And I didn't know I was going. Somebody said I have an extra ticket, so I went. They said, stick around for the second show. It's going to be, or second talk, it's going to be different from the first. And then, I ran into somebody else. I have an extra ticket for that one. It always seems to work out that way. So I stayed for the second one. And I enjoyed it. Just hearing him talk, seeing how humble he is, hearing his story, how he got to this point. And he's extremely approachable. If you see him, go say hello to him. And as far as it went, I thought maybe there would be something different with this. So I went with some friends who hadn't seen it, and that was the whole point. I wanted to go hang out with them. But yeah, we went. It was actually a lot of the same stuff from those first talks I attended.
Okay.
A little bit extra, but I was really happy I did it because I'd forgotten a lot of the details from the first time around.
Yeah, his work is really, really, really good. Really good. Myself and Luke happened to get a different artist that the band worked with as well, Luke Priest. We had a chat with him one time on our podcast, and it was very interesting to get into the mind of the artist and where the ideas come from. It's fascinating, wasn't it, Luke?
Yeah, for sure. That chat with Luke Priest was really, really informative. He spoke about his process into drawing up some designs and where he takes inspiration from and all of that sort of good stuff.
Yeah.
And it's interesting to see that his 72 seasons themed t-shirt is one of their main sellers in the pop-up shop.
Yeah, it's the one that you see everybody wearing.
Yeah, and they're always tagging him in it, which is cool. I think that's awesome that you see Luke's story every Metallica weekend is like loads of reposts of people wearing his t-shirt.
Yeah. But talking about the artwork for Nashville was absolutely brilliant. Luke, I remember you sent me a picture of it. It was so damn good.
It was really cool. And the reason I had sent it to you was I know you love the posters, Gavin, of the gigs. And I had sent it to Gavin, Chris, being like, man, if we could get you one of these for the studio, you would be over the moon. You'd be like a child at Christmas.
Yeah, it was really good. I love the color. I love everything about the two shows. What was your take on them, Chris?
Yeah, as far as it went, I ended up getting the overall weekend poster. So the sword through the skull with the logo on there. And I grabbed that from the pop-up store. I was like, I'm here. I might as well grab one. I was grabbing some stuff for other people.
Yeah.
But all the color that came with that one, I really liked it.
So good. Which artist done that one?
I couldn't tell you. I didn't look into it and I didn't hear, but I was just like, it's one of the, I saw it and I needed it.
Yeah, it was so good. It was really good. It definitely stood out for me. Well, before we get into Nashville set list, tell us about Titan Stadium. How was it, Chris? How was the sound? How was the crowd? How was everything?
It was it's still a pretty nice football stadium. It's open air. Right next door, they're building a new smart stadium that's going to be covered with a roof. So that's going to hamper future performances. I think I was told that in 2027 they're supposed to finish that. They're going to turn the current Nissan Stadium into a parking lot.
No way.
But we got there. The whole worry was weather. Leading up to it, you're talking about the South. You're talking about April, May, that time of year. The propensity for severe thunderstorms is high. But as far as it went, I didn't put up with any weather, got in there. What I've noticed with these Thursday shows that they've been doing is that, yeah, everybody's at work. So the crowd, the GA is pretty thin when it first gets in. By the time Pantera is coming out, it's still pretty empty in the seats.
Yeah.
But as far as it was, weather was great. The weather was perfect. The sound was good. We weren't putting up with the problems that we were putting up with inside the Rogers Center.
Right. That's good to hear.
Yeah.
That's good to hear. Well, let's get into the set list. So you had your I Disappear, and you got a brilliant spot, right?
Yes, I was fortunate. I didn't wait in line that day. I showed up at around 3:30, checked in at I Disappear. I had some friends that had Frantic that were like, "We'll save a spot for you," So thank you. and then so they let me know, "Hey, we're over by Rob." So I went in and I ended up going the wrong way. I didn't see Chad over there in James's spot, but I went the wrong way. But I did a quick 360, ran around, said hello to people, found my friends, and we were at the dip. I was just essentially on the opposite side of the dip that I was in night one in Toronto. So I was right there at the dip on Rob's side.
Cool. Let's get into the set. Luke, do you have the set list? No?
I do. Right. Let me fire it up.
Yeah, you go for it.
So, as always, shit's about to get real when you start to hear It's a Long Way to the Top hit the PA.
Yes.
Yeah.
So at that stage, Chris, are you with your friends in Rob's spot?
Yes. Yeah, I'm with my friends there. And then there's somebody next to me. I've heard him talking to another friend of mine who is behind us, who doesn't know Metallica really well. So he's one of the casual ones that knows the hits and just came to see Metallica. So
yeah,
as we're going through it, as I'm taking it in, I'm wondering what kind of lens he's seeing it through.
Yeah.
Very nice. Very nice. Is Rob sort of bumping around at that stage, interacting with the crowd?
So right there during that point, he hasn't. James walked by. He touched my hand. At that point, I was right. I could go back to the hotel and just be fine. But later on throughout the show, yeah, at one point Rob did come up and gripped our hands, and it was like so great to see you, Rob. Yeah.
Oh man, what a legend!
That's cool.
So then we get in. Then the Ecstasy Gold hits.
Goosebumps.
Yeah, you took the words out of my mouth, Chris. I swear to God, no matter. Okay, we have small numbers compared to you, Chris, with shows, but no matter how many times I hear that song, I don't care. I will always get goosebumps.
Every time. I just now am thinking about it.
I can actually hear
I'm the same.
My neck. Yeah. So good. Oh, God. Keep going, Luke.
Then we crack into my favorite set list opener, Creeping Death.
Yeah.
Heavy.
And that's when I'm thinking of the guy next to me. When we get into the die part, the lights come down. I'm still picturing it. It's all red in there, and you're seeing the fists. You're seeing the army. And just hearing the chants of die. And I'm like, this guy has to really love what he's taking in.
Yes.
Whatever about that being such an incredible moment, Chris, I think us as the true fans, that small silence as the Ecstasy Gold ends, as Lars eyes James, whoever he's looking at that time, someone in the crowd, 1, 2, 3, 4 on the Chinese usually now, and in we go, is just like all hell's about to break loose.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. It's like that chills moment we just spoke about, the Ecstasy Gold.
Honestly, I can't get over it. I'm just thinking.
I know. I feel my
heart. It's so good. Like you can't describe it unless you've been there.
But look at track 2.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. This was a heavy hitter of a set.
Yeah.
So we got Harvester of Sorrow for track 2.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I'll never get sick of hearing that ever.
Was there much of a hang in between it, Chris, or did they sort of just straight in?
I feel like they just went straight into that.
Yeah, I feel like they rolled the first three songs.
Yeah.
And then number three, another massive, massive one to get. Leper Messiah.
And
Hmm.
after last week, I was asked. I told my friends too. I was like, I really want Leper today. And then right when they went into it, I turned. I was like, I asked and I received.
The gods have spoken.
And the funny part with Leper, so I always make extra, and it's once something happens the first time, you don't want to screw it up after that. But the first time I heard Leper was in Arlington in 2023, and I had heard live versions of Leper so much that when they went into it, and I was in the Snake Pit in Arlington, they went into it, and I did not realize it was the first time I was hearing it live. I thought to myself, "Oh, I've heard this," and I went with it, and yeah, I always go ham, but it was the next week in LA that I was like, okay, I didn't really take it in and just and understand that I was finally getting it, and then I was able to just have like an emotional moment with it that time around. But so no, hearing Leper live now really means something to me.
Hell yeah, yeah. It's so fast, so heavy. Metallica at their best, and they're still playing it. I seen footage like it's still pretty fast.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think it's unreal that Lars is still busting out the double pedal part as well. He's not shying away from it. He's nailing it.
Yeah,
And any of the videos that I saw, Gavin, and that I had sent to you, like his drums sounded absolutely amazing. Everything was on point.
yeah, yeah,
Even like Kirk, James, Rob, they all sound brilliant. It's just like they're getting better.
yeah. Rolling back the years. I'm sure you guys might have seen this footage too. I think it was shared maybe by the Metallica page, but someone had a camera at Lars's feet. I don't
No,
know.
I didn't see that.
Oh
Huh.
Jesus, it's he's non-stop like even the left foot is going, you know,
Yeah, he keeps it off the hi-hat stand and he's
yeah,
bouncing
and he's
that
still
thing all the time.
all the time, yeah. Like he really, like we've had this chat numerous times. Like Lars is a phenomenal drummer, and I know Luke, you as a drummer, you'll die in that hill. What are we up to? Track four, Luke.
We're up to track four. I'm sure they had a little bit of a chat before King Nothing.
There was, yeah, there was because there was a little bit of a chat because I remember I do recall, more like a put your eyes on Kirk, or he turned it over to Kirk as he went into that. Yeah.
I always feel when King Nothing comes up in the set list, you see a certain excitement rise in James.
Yeah, I think so too. Actually, I think he really loves that album.
I'd say that has a lot to do with now. Another thing, I'm not so sure how accurate it is, but you know the way they've talked about James coming up with certain bass lines.
Yeah,
I'm wondering, was King Nothing his baby as well?
possibly. Yeah,
Could be, maybe that's what gives him the excitement of it. But I watched the live footage of, there's a couple of really good videos on YouTube of King Nothing in Nashville, and he's standing up there giving it his all when that riff kicks in.
yeah,
And even the mid section where the pair of them sort of eye each other and James is doing his wee lead bit,
yeah,
whatever's going on, Kirk's loving that.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's a great song. It's a great
It's
song.
great camaraderie between them on stage as well again,
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
100.
which is awesome to see.
So then into 72 seasons. And then they seem to always have that the fifth and sixth slot is kind of 72 seasons, right, Chris?
Yep. Yeah. Before they go into the doodle,
Yeah.
that's where they'll drop 72 seasons tracks.
How do you like you that has been to a couple of shows this year? Like, are you still loving 72 seasons, or would you like?
I am. Yeah, certainly. And especially those songs, 72 seasons, Shadows Follow, especially. I love all the different riffs in that one.
Yeah,
But yeah, and obviously, in a Murata. But as far as it goes, like the album itself, yeah, I still really like the album. I'm
yeah,
still songs. I can tell the excitement, from those first four songs, and now we're going to the new material, and then I can feel the energy in the stadium kind of wane as we're going into the not old popular Metallica stuff.
Yeah, yeah. But like you just said, two really good tracks, and it's a really good album. Um, I'm a big fan of You Must Born.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I
And then
love.
when they play If Darkness Had a Son, that Temptation part is so heavy, and I
Yeah,
really love that.
I was
yeah,
just about to say track number 6 has to be one of my favorites off the album. Now, Inamorata is probably my favorite, but You Must Burn and then If Darkness Had a Son,
Mhm.
I think it and Inamorata, it's a toss up between them on any given day, but
yeah.
just the riffs in that, Chris, it's so heavy.
It is. It was funny. I was explaining it when they played it all within my hands, and they did that version. That's I turned to my buddy, and I was like, "Man, at this moment, I miss that heavy, that low temptation."
Yeah, yeah.
I love the energy behind that.
He's definitely smiling on stage when that one's on as well, as we talked about other
Yeah.
on the load stuff. But so Luke, myself and yourself watched on YouTube the Doodle to Live Is to Die.
Yes, we did.
Chris, I was actually looking forward to asking you this question because going by the YouTube footage, I didn't think it was fantastic.
Just the sound of it, or
Yeah, it possibly might have been the video, but
yeah.
it took a minute to kind of go, is that the song? And then, oh yeah, that's it.
That
But
was it. Yeah, no, that was it. Because it was, and that's what I noticed last week is we're doing this jam, and all of a sudden we break right into
yeah,
whatever we're going to play for you. So that was the thing with Suicide and Redemption last week. You're
yeah,
just kind of going with it, and all of a sudden it's like, hey, wait a minute. Uh,
yeah,
and it
yeah,
was the same thing with that. I'm headbanging just a bit to the jam and just kind of going with the vibe and the groove of it. And next thing you know, it just caught me by surprise, and it was like, really, we're doing this, we're
yeah,
doing this, and I hear it from the people around me as everybody's having that realization, and I'm thinking back to when I actually got to hear the song, and we're like, this is really going to happen.
yeah, yeah. Oh
But I
man,
was I was excited. I knew we were just going to get a snippet, but I
yeah.
was I was happy to be in the presence.
Oh man, I'd take a snippet any day. Just a little
Yeah.
tease, it'll do me, even if it's just the two guys. But yeah, interesting. So then, Luke, you take over here.
So after that, we went into The Day That Never Comes.
Brilliant song live.
One of the best, and the one that's probably carried the most from Death Magnetic in
Yeah,
later years.
yeah.
Yeah.
I know Cyanide has become reintroduced in the last couple of years in some shows, but The Day That Never Comes has been a stalwart.
It's so good live. I like again going back to Madrid because it's the only show that we've been at lately. But that stands out. Remember me and you, Luke, going, this is wow,
Yeah, that was a heavy hitter.
that was savage. It was just there was something special about it in that moment. I don't know what it
Yeah.
was. I think it was like we just talked about maybe 10 minutes ago, getting them goosebumps of, the ecstasy of gold. I think I kind of just sat back in my chair and just kind of took it in for a second, and was like, this is fucking happening. This is my favorite band right in front of me.
Mhm.
They're back. To me, Slane, we chatted before. I remember saying to Luke, I don't know, man. I don't know if this is gonna last. They don't, something's not right. But in that moment, at that song, I do remember like going back in my seat and going, yes, this is gonna be around for another few years. This is amazing. This was another level. I don't know if you agree, Luke.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with you. There was something special about that performance.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Number
they
nine, or sorry,
oh,
go on ahead, Chris, my bad.
and they have a lot of fun where they gather together. At the towards the end of that,
Yes.
what I noticed because as I was going through some past footage when I was on my way, I saw in Seattle where Rob and James are by each other, and James keeps putting out his fingers towards Rob while he's playing. He's just strumming his part, keeps sticking out his fingers. Rob's over here playing. He's like, "What do you want me to do to your fingers?" Because James keeps sticking him out to him. And it's so like at one point, Rob has put his bass on his fingers. He's always, maybe he's trying to slap them with his fingers. James likes to annoy him, and so I noticed this time around again as they were doing that. And then they were going, and Rob finally just gave up on him, and then they continued on with their part. But it's always funny to see that little interaction.
They definitely seem to have some great chemistry at the minute.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah. So Shadows Fallen, right?
And it might have been right before Shadows Fall. I think it was before that, because I think that they were ready to go into it. I can't remember if it was that song or before Day or before the night. I think it was before this one. Lars was having some equipment issues, so he had to call Jimmy back on stage. There was a little bit of a delay. So James starts talking for a bit, and then Kirk goes into Smoke in the Water. And it was still going, so they kept playing, and James started going into vocals. And I was like, To Live Is to Die, some Smoke on the Water. I feel like we're listening to Live Shit, Binge and Purge again.
Yeah.
So that was actually another really cool moment. I was like, I haven't seen them have that much of a delay where they've had to go into that in person.
Yeah. It says it was preceded by after Shadows Fallen, but that could be wrong. But
okay. So it might have been right after that. Yeah, I couldn't tell where it was, but I knew which location they were in.
I seen the footage of it, and just as James starts, maybe like 5 seconds after it, Lars comes in on the hi-hat, and it's like, that'd be pretty cool to see. Just something so natural to happen like that would have been cool. Then we roll into Orion, definitely a masterpiece, dedicated to Cliff Burton, of course. And then night one, we kind of finished with, it's pretty much standard, I think, Chris, right?
Yeah, and Orion is something I'm always looking forward to on night one, is because out of that and Cthulhu, I was like, give me Orion every day, and I love Orion every time I hear it. Yeah,
100%. It's so good. I just said recently that it used to be my number one, but To Live Is to Die is my number one. So
that's your number one.
To get both of them on the one night, Jesus, even though it's not a full song, I'll take it. But then we finish up with the regular Nothing Else Matters, Sad But True, Battery, Jesus,
Yeah, I was wondering if we might get Blackened in that slot this time around, and I'm never going to turn down Battery.
Yeah, no, definitely. And then Fuel with the Helping Hands intro, Seek and Destroy, and Master of Puppets. So yeah, that's a nice ending to a hell of a night.
Yeah.
Any standout moments from any of them tracks?
Just trying to obviously Seek and Destroy, the balls. It was funny because before the show even started, early on, one of the towers, the balls fell out. I was like, oh, we're going into Seek and Destroy. So they had to work to put those back in. And I did check, and I looked when the balls started to fall, those balls were back in the tower, and they did fall out. So it was pandemonium again with the balls.
Yeah. And again, a big thank you for coming on, Chris. We really appreciate it, and great feedback from our listeners. They enjoy it. So hopefully we get you back on to review them shows, the ones that you're hitting up towards the end of the tour.
Yeah, I'd be happy to do it. I appreciate you having me, and I enjoy what you guys are doing.
Cool. Thanks so much, man. Well, that's it for always. If you enjoyed the show, please hit that subscribe button. Give us a follow and leave us a comment what your top 5 Metallica tracks are. Until the next one, keep rocking.